How's it going, guys and girls? Mahmood here, and we're playing on the Transcendence server. This episode, we're not gonna build anything, we're not gonna do anything, we're just gonna walk around and we're gonna talk about how to be a better YouTuber and therefore, hopefully, gain more subscribers. The first thing, what I'll do, I'll just walk around my base. This is my base, and then go maybe to spawn and walk around spawn and other people's bases and just talk about the subject. So let us begin. So, why am I talking about this? In the last episode, I was doing a spawn tour, and suddenly I remembered that someone asked me a question. Someone asked me, "How did you gain 100 subscribers?" And I started answering it, but thank goodness I lost the video footage of actually that video, so I couldn't upload it. And it's a good thing because I was rambling. I didn't organize my thoughts before then. The topic just sneaked up on me. But now I organized my thoughts a little bit more, and I think I'm ready to discuss it. So let us begin. The question was, how did I gain 100 subscribers? The first thing I want to point out is that 100 subscribers, the number of subscribers you have is relative. So, 100 subscribers is nothing compared to those who have millions, and it's almost everything to those who have 0 or 1 subscriber. That's the first thing that I want to point out. This was our first base, by the way, when we came here. I removed all the furniture that was here. But there wasn't any furniture, there was boxes everywhere, chests. So, that's the first thing that I wanted to point out. Numero uno. It's just like, it's not the first point, but I'd like you to keep that in mind, that it's relative. And I believe it's very important for one to be content. So, even those who have 10,000 will compare. If you're not content, you're going to keep comparing yourself to those who have more than you, and you're going to keep getting upset or sad or depressed. So be content. That's number one. That's why I'm pointing out that the number of subscribers is relative. This is my storage house. Very simple. Okay, now let's start with the main. I divided this topic into an objective view, objective points that I want to make, and subjective points. The first subjective points meaning that what I like in YouTubers, and objective points means what I believe every YouTuber should keep in mind. So the first objective point is the main thing I notice with people who started YouTubing, who are beginners, is that they sound depressed, or even worse, maybe bored. They're like speaking in monotone. They're not. There's no difference in the tone of their voice. And I recently watched a video by Vintage Beef, who had a very helpful advice, I think, which is, and it's very simple. Everyone can do it. You smile while you are commentating. So keep smiling. Can you sense that I'm smiling right now? So yeah, keep smiling. That actually helps. You don't literally have to do it. You just need to be a normal person and not a robot, and not a depressed person. I think the reason they sound depressed, those who are beginning YouTube, is that they expected YouTubing to be easy. They expected that they'll have millions of subscribers, or at least hundreds of subscribers within maybe months, and it doesn't happen, and they just get more depressed and depressed. until they sound very depressed in their videos. They sound like they're struggling to give you that content. So it you cannot people. I don't think I personally I can't listen to it. I can't listen to a person sound depressed. It makes you either feel sad or depressed with them. Like, oh my god, why am I listening to this? Why is this person making me want to cry? So yeah, don't sound depressed and don't be bored. Don't sound bored in your videos. The second point that I'd like to make, by the way, this is a housing building that I built. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice decoration inside. The second point that I wanted to make is that people go caving. The point is don't go caving. Just remember that. Don't go caving. I think people watch famous YouTubers, they watch Vintage Beef, they watch Paul Soares Jr., and they're like, oh, that's all it takes. I can just go caving, I can just go exploring, and people will watch me and love me and talk to me. No, no one wants to wants to watch you go caving. I know it's sad, but no one wants to watch that yet. That's the helpful point. Yet, see, there's a difference. Those who can go caving and people and will get hundreds of thousands of views, those have already established themselves. Those already have followers. That's so that people are tuning in to watch them more than to watch the content that they're making. But as a beginner, people do not know you. You still have to gain followers, and then you can go caving. But actually, there's a I'm gonna in the end I'm gonna talk about also the famous you or the people who made it and who are losing subscribers. I think I have a little bit of I have some thoughts on that, so I'll talk about that. For now, just remember, as a beginner, you don't have the option of going caving, of exploring, of doing nothing in your video and expecting people to watch it. Just remember that people are tuning in to watch famous YouTubers because they want to watch them. But as a beginner, people will tune in to watch you for your content, not for you. So remember that. Don't do as famous YouTubers do. That's the point. Or, if it's easier to remember, don't go caving. That's another pill. I see a lot of people go caving. Why are you going caving? I've seen that. I've done that a million times. I'm not going to enjoy myself. Even if something fun happens in the middle of the episode, people will not stick around to and wait till something happens in the episode. And even I don't know what can happen. You're gonna get blown up by a creeper. You're gonna get killed by zombies. We've seen that before. So please, 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 don't go caving. Don't do as famous YouTubers do. This is the beginning of Spawn. Oh, I built this cemetery. Let's go back and see it. I was very proud of the idea of having these acacia trees without the leaves. I think it looks nice. It gives it like an ominous feeling. So what's the third point? Aha, yes. These are the don'ts, by the way. So the first one was don't sound bored or depressed. The second one is don't go caving or don't do as famous YouTubers. The third point is don't do it for the money because you're not gonna make money. Say that, repeat after me. I will not make money doing the YouTube. Repeat it before you go to bed every night because it is the sad truth. Unfortunately, this is a new building. I don't know what the hell is this. So yeah, well, you're gonna tell me, well, Mahmoud, a lot of people are making money doing YouTube. Yes, but the majority of people are not making money, and you should, in my opinion, you should follow the rule You should expect to be the rule, not the exception. You know, they say there's a rule and there's an exception. Most people will be the rule. Most people will not make money. YouTubing now is like these jobs like acting, writing, these jobs where these are dreams more than jobs, you know. So for me, the way I tackle YouTube is I think of it as a dream that I'm trying to gain rather than a goal. If Let me elaborate on that a little bit so that it makes more sense. For example, uh, let's say if I had a kid, I'm still young, I'm in my late 20s, I don't have any kids, I'm not married. But if I had a kid, I had a daughter, she's like, oh, I want to be a dancer. I'm like, I would be like, great, have that as plan Z, because it's not going to happen. It will probably not happen because there's so much competition in those fields. You can work on it, but on your spare time. You should have plan A real plan where you get like a real job, where you go to school, where you study, where you get a degree, where you go to work, where you go to an office, maybe from 9 to 5. That's a plan. The other thing is a dream that you should work on. I'm not saying you should not work on it. For example, I have now my main dream is to become a writer. So I write on my spare time, but I will not have my professional career suffer because of my writing dream, you know? The number one priority is my job, my real job. Then comes writing, then comes YouTube. That's for me. Oh, am I gonna get hurt? No. That's a nice looking thing. Looks like it's broken down. I think that's Jeff. Yeah, that's Jeff's space. Oh, you know what? I don't think I want to see it. I want to take a tour with him later. So yeah, have YouTube be something you work on the side and don't expect to succeed in it. I know it's sad, but it's the truth. Work on it very hard if you want, but don't. That's my personal opinion, and I think it's an objective truth. That's why it's in the objective column. Don't have it be your number one priority. Have a real, achievable goal and have YouTube be the dream that you are trying to follow. But do not have your goal suffer because of YouTube. That's my personal opinion, and I think it's an objective truth. Now we are gonna move. Actually, let's do the objective do's. You have you have to have these are, I believe, the minimum requirements. Why am I going back? You know what we should do? Yeah, let's go check out this area. This is NPC's weird fortress thingy. And now we're going to talk about the objective do's. What you should do. What are the minimum, what I call them, the minimum requirements to have to be a successful YouTuber. And by all means, I don't consider myself a successful YouTuber, and maybe you should not be listening to me. But this is my opinion. Uh, you don't have to listen to me. It's fine. Uh, but I hope it will be helpful nonetheless. So the first thing, you have to have good quality on your video, good quality videos. So the mic should sound, you should sound fine. Whoa. You should not have background noises in the background. What else is there? The video quality should be HD at least, I'd say, because a lot of people are doing HD right now. It can be 720, not necessarily 1080, but I think you need to have HD. Now, the second point in the do's, I think you should have a consistent schedule. It doesn't have to be daily, it doesn't have to be weekly, but it should be consistent in some way. Maybe every month, maybe once a week, but try to have a consistent schedule, because if you don't have a consistent schedule, people will just unsubscribe because they feel like they're. I feel like I'm wasting on a sub if I'm subbing to a person who doesn't who's not producing any content. And then there are two. I think they're between objective and subjective. They're in the middle. I'm not sure about those two. One is be a respectful adult when you're playing YouTube. Don't be whiny. Don't be an adult. Rather than saying an adult, because maybe some kids will take offense to that. Be mature or mature, as they say. Who says mature? I don't know. Be mature. And the second one is that, well, it's the same thing. It's 1 point. Be mature. That's it. Now let's move to what. Let's move to the my subjective opinions of my subjective don'ts. The first one, I will not. The reason they're subjective because I think the most famous YouTubers do these, yet these are people I don't watch because I cannot stand it. The number one thing I cannot stand in YouTubers is when they're being loud and obnoxious. I do not like screaming. I do not like yelling unnecessarily. It's just, yeah, yeah, some things are being built here. So where should we go? That's the end of the road, right? Yeah. Let's go through the spawn, the nether. Yeah. Let's go through the nether. Good. So yeah, I just have 3 points for on the subjective column. One, don't be loud or obnoxious. Two, don't play Goat Simulator, Surgeon Blalator, or Cyclist Jumper Baiter. I don't know. These games, I hate them so much. I hate them so much. But people, they receive like millions of views. I don't understand it. It's just not. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old, but I don't like them. And the third point that I wanna make in the subjective column is that don't be fake. What does it mean, don't be fake? I see people exaggerating. Whoa. What is happening here? Yeah, something is wrong. I see people exaggerating when they're playing. It's the same as the first one. They start yelling, they start getting excited unnecessarily. And when I see that, I just, first of all, I stop watching the video. And then I give the YouTubers a chance because sometimes I like them. I like a lot of their content. But if it keeps happening a lot, I just cannot stand it and I unsubscribe. So 3 points. Don't be loud or obnoxious. Don't play Goat Simulator. And the third point is don't be fake. To the new town. Let's go see the new town. So all of these points are what I consider the minimum requirements. For me, the objective ones are the minimum requirements in general. The subjective ones are the minimum requirements for me to watch you, or people like me to watch you. So I guess you don't have to pay that much attention to the subjective points that I made, but the objective ones I believe are very necessary for one to be a successful YouTuber. But all that, the reason I call them a minimum requirement is that because all that will not guarantee you getting subs. It will not. People think, oh, I have good quality content, I have good quality video, therefore I should have millions of subs. It will not happen. It will not happen. And the reason it will not happen is because the market is saturated with YouTubers right now. There's a lot of YouTubers, and people already have their favorite YouTubers, so you're entering a very competitive field. So what to do about that? That's the fourth topic of conversation, fourth area we're going to discuss, and that area is exposure. How to gain exposure. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I have some things that I'd like to point out. One, I think you should, as a Minecrafter, you should join an active community of like-minded people, such as the Transcendence server for me. So you should. This will help you in a couple of ways. One, you'll get to know people, and these people, if they're nice enough, they'll sub to you and they'll watch your videos. If they like it, they're gonna keep subbing to you and they might recommend you to friends. The second point is that you will feature them in your videos and they will feature you in their videos, so you'll exchange subs basically. People who are subbing to you will start subbing to them, and people who are subbing to them will start subbing to you. The second point with regards to exposure is interact with other players, with other YouTubers, and with the viewers. How to interact using whatever means possible, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media in general. I don't know. Just try to interact with them, because if you are just someone who makes videos, people will watch you. They're like, oh, that's nice, but it's gonna be like TV. But once you establish a relationship with them, it's gonna be more difficult for them to leave you. It's strange, but you're gonna have they're gonna start considering you like a friend maybe. So it's gonna be more difficult for them to leave you. This area is coming along. The last time I was here, there was pretty much nothing. How does he have this? Isn't this like you can't get this in vanilla? I don't know. What is the third point with regards to exposure is be creative. And by be creative in trying to get exposure without being obnoxious. So maybe try to advertise. I tried advertising. No, no, no. Try to advertise. Can I run, please? My God, it's disastrous. Haha, I win. So yeah, be creative. Try to maybe look into advertising. Look into maybe creating giveaways. That worked very well with me, but the problem with that, I think, see, that's the thing. Giveaways will give you like my most watched videos are giveaways. Actually, my most watched video is an animation that I made, which was horrible. Maybe people shouldn't watch it. So try to be creative. Uh, I don't know. There's this author. See, my as I said, my goal in life is to become a writer, or my dream in life is to become a writer. Let's go back to Spawn. So there's this author, Hugh Howey. When he first started out, now he's very famous. When he first started out, he wasn't very famous, and he told his readership that if like I sell I don't know how many copies or something, I'll go to Times Square and dance in the middle of Times Square, and that's what he did. He created a video and danced. So be creative. I see some people doing Patreon. They're using Patreon in a way to gain subscribers. I think they're giving giveaways through Patreons. So anyway, look into it, be creative. And that is it for the discussion regarding our main topic. But I have one last point. And the last point that I want to make is ignore everything I said. You're going to tell me you're crazy. you're crazy. What is this madness? What I mean is not ignore it altogether, but have it be as guiding kind of principles rather than rigid laws. Just keep the points that I made in the back of your head, but yet you can maybe sometimes be loud and obnoxious. I don't know. So ignore the points that I made. Just keep them in your mind. So that's the last thing I want to say. How long is this video? I need to check. Why are you here? Very good, very good, very good. Let me check the length. Actually, no. Let's discuss it. Even if it's long, let's discuss this topic. I recently noticed that some YouTubers who are famous have been like kind of complaining about, not complaining. They just mentioned that they've been losing subs, which made me wonder why is that happening. They already made it. They already have a lot of subs, so why are people unsubscribing? Are those people watching new YouTubers? I think the reason is one. I think one of the most important reasons is that they weren't being consistent with their uploads, so people just started getting bored with them and maybe started unsubbing. I think the second point, and maybe it's more important, is that they were taking their position for granted. You see how I think Vintage Beef is smart, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about Vintage Beef. You see how Vintage Beef, most of his videos, there's a goal for the video. He does something. He doesn't just walk around and do nothing like other people who are also famous. But every now and then he does this video where he goes and checks out maybe the spawn area, new buildings, stuff like that. So, and he says, "Oh, I don't like this." Wait. So he says that he feels like bad doing these videos, even though people like them very much. That is true. And people are still watching those videos where he's doing nothing more than the videos where he's doing something. So the question is, why? Why is that happening? And what does it mean? Does it mean that you can stop creating good content once you are famous as Vintage Beef maybe? The answer is no. Even though people like it, if you keep doing it all the time, you will lose subs. You still need to create content. Even though people are watching you for you as a famous YouTuber, ultimately they still need some good quality content. And Vintage Beef recognizes that, I think, and that's why he doesn't like making. He just makes these random videos every once in a while rather than all the time. So I think these famous YouTubers, and especially what I call the old guard, uh, like those who started YouTubing as like with Paul Soares Jr. I think Paul was the first one. That's how I started watching YouTube. Is Paul actually? I bought Minecraft when it was in beta, and I didn't know how to play it. I went to their website and I saw this video, and it was Paul. And then I started watching the tutorials. Now I'm rambling, by the way. I started watching his tutorials, and then I was like, I like this guy. I think he's entertaining. So I started watching his other videos, and I remember I went back and watched every video he made. That's how much I like Paul, and I still watch Paul. I don't watch all his videos now because I started watching more people. But for the first maybe year of my Minecraft career, I just watched Paul. That's it. Paul, Paul, Paul. And I started watching Minecraft after Paul joined them. And in the beginning, I thought they were immature. I'm like, who are those people? Why is Paul making videos with them? Then I started getting used to them and liking them. But the point that I was talking about is that some people who started, those people who were famous in the beginning, I'm not gonna mention any names. Uh, I'm not gonna mention any names. Those who started in the beginning yet are now less famous than, let's say, Paul, BWO, Vintage Beef. Why did that happen to them? I think the reason is simple. Numero uno, I think there are three reasons. Two I already pointed out. One, not they weren't consistent. Two, they started creating they they started they took their position for granted, thinking that people will keep watching them for them rather than their content. And the third reason, which I forget right now, what was it? Ah, yeah. The third reason is that basically, maybe from the beginning, like maybe they had less competition basically, and people watched them just because they were on and no one else was. So 3 points. One, they weren't consistent. Two, they took their position for granted, started creating content that was what I called lazy content. And three, they they started getting more competition and they lost the competition. Sorry to say that. But they didn't lose it. They still have maybe hundreds of thousands of subscribers, or around tens of thousands. So, whoa. So these are the points that I wanted to make. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it made sense. And that is it. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Run. Oh, he's not angry. How are you not angry? So I'll see you next time. Guys and girls, before I go, let me give you a quick summary of what I said. The video is already very long. I tried to be as brief and concise as possible, but I failed miserably. So, objective don'ts. Number one, don't sound bored or depressed. Smile. Number two, don't go caving. That's easier to remember. Don't go caving. Number three, don't do it for the money. You will not make money. Now, objective do's. Do have a good quality video. Do have a good quality do create good quality content, and be a respectful, mature person. Now, the subjective don'ts. Don't be loud or obnoxious. Don't play Goat Simulator. And lastly, the last point, don't be fake. Now, these are the minimum requirements that you need in order to be successful, but that does not mean you are guaranteed success. So, because in order to be successful, you need exposure. In order to gain exposure, you need to keep in mind these 3 points. One, join an active, like-minded community. Two, interact with other players, YouTubers, and viewers. Three, be creative. Advertise, give giveaways, do whatever. Be creative. That's the point. And that's it. That is it. In the end, I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of what I said? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree with which point do you agree with, and which points don't you? And lastly, what did I miss? I thought of this for a day. I was planning on leaving the document. Basically, I wrote a Word document, bullet points. So I was planning on leaving this document open for a month so that I would observe other YouTubers and see their mistakes and what they're and the good things that they're doing, and writing it down. But I thought I already have enough content to make one video, so I decided to make it and ask you guys, what do you think? So what did I miss? What did I get wrong? Let me know in the comment section below. And now, guys and girls, I'll tell you, I'll see you next time. Ooh, the tower. Next time.